And now for our feature story. ESL, or English as a Second Language, classes are in two locations, one in Oliver and one in Osoyoos. Carolyn Sinclair of the Okanagan College updates us on the program that is now offered out of the Osoyoos Sonora Center.
This is Margie Basso for Eastlink Magazine, and today we're down in Osoyoos at the wonderful Sonora Center. I have Carolyn Sinclair, and we're going to be talking about some programs that are being offered for our English as a second language. So Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us today. And first off, I'm going to have you explain what ESLSAP stands for.
Good. ESLSAP is the program that we're going to talk about today, and it stands for English as a Second Language Settlement Assistance Program, ESLSAP.
And that is a mouthful.
It sure is.
And what I'd like you to do right now is just give us a little bit of background and history with that program here in Osoyoos.
The program's actually been here since 2008, and it was started in the spring of 2008, and I came on board in the fall. And at that time, I trained about 15 volunteer tutors to work one-on-one with adult ESL students. Adult immigrants, they may be recently arrived or might have been here for some years, but in general, they want English assistance to be able to participate in Canadian society.
And so can you just explain what your role, I know that you are coordinator, you're also an instructor, and can you tell the public what that means?
Okay, as coordinator, I recruit both volunteer tutors, as well as adult students. And we look for, in the students, we look for people who are 19 or over, Canadian citizens or permanent residents, or they might be refugee claimants. And if you're interested in being a volunteer, all you have to do is have good English communication skills and be patient and be ready to give 1 or 2 hours a week to an adult learner. And I also test the students and determine that they have the right credentials. And testing them allows me to match them with an adult volunteer and ensure that they have materials that are just at the right level for them so that they can work together. I do an exit interview at the end of the year to ensure that the student has the same goals or might have changed. And I've seen lots of progress over the period of time that I've been here. Some of our students that came on 4 years ago, 5 years ago, are still with us. And they're learning. And one fellow, for example, came on, just wanted to learn English, and then he decided that he wanted to learn to write in English so he could write business proposals. And over the last year, he's worked with his tutor on a landscaping course so that he could improve his credentials in the workplace.
So I know that we had a brief conversation. Give us some more of those success stories of, certain people that have English as a second language that have come forward. What inspired them to seek out this program, and what are some of the things that they were able to do because of it?
Well, the nice thing about this program is that it meets the learner's needs. You don't have to go into a class. You meet one-on-one, you have an established goal. And I'll tell you about one particular situation. I met a woman in the library one day, and she asked Kathy Burton, do you know where there's some English materials? And I walked in the library at the same time, and Kathy introduced us. This woman had been in Canada for 38 years. She came from Portugal and worked on an orchard for all the days of her life, but never had the chance to learn English because there were no facilities here in Osoyoos. So I matched her with a tutor, and while she works with one of our partners, which is School District 53 at ULearn, learning English with Rosetta Stone on the computer, she also has a tutor now that can help her. And she says this is a dream come true. And when she told me that, she said, if only I'd had this 38 years ago, but we have it now. And many of our students are housewives who are quite housebound, and their hours have to work around their children, going to school, coming home, etc. And because we have a space here in the Sonora Center provided by the town of Osoyoos, they can come and go and use this space with their tutor and learn exactly what they need. That might be, I just want to learn to be able to speak to my doctor. about my children's health, or I want to be able to speak to my children's teacher about their grades and their behavior in school. Or we've had other people that have come and said, I want to do my English well enough to be able to pass my driver's test in English. And so the goals might be discrete or they may be really wide.
And it's really important, some of those things that you've mentioned are often things that we take for granted, that for someone coming from another country, it can be very necessary for them to do. So let's talk about a little bit about some of your funding partners. First off, the financial funder for the program itself, and then some of the wonderful partnerships that you've established, such as you mentioned School District 53 in the town of Osoyoos.
First of all, we're funded by Citizenship and Immigration Canada. That's where the monies come from, and this is a free program. Also, the money that we do have is mostly for my salary as coordinator and also for stationery and photocopying, because all of our photocopying is provided for the tutors. And we're administered at the provincial level by the Ministry of Advanced Education and Labour Market Development. And then locally, because there are 45 of these, there are local colleges often that administer. Okanagan College administers our funding. And it's interesting to note that Okanagan College has a motto, and that is, Okanagan College transforms lives and communities. And if this isn't a life-transforming program, I don't know what else would be, because imagine being here and not being able to go to the grocery store and say, I'm shortchanged. And this is one of the triumphs of one of our students last year. She was thrilled to come back to her tutor and say, I was at the grocery store. They didn't give me enough money back. I could tell them. So her life is certainly transformed. Some of our program partners, and I did mention School District 53 through ULearn, and we often work hand in hand referring our students to each other. But the school district offers space after school in the elementary school and in the high school after school for our learners to meet one-on-one. Work Zone is another one of our partners, and they have offered space and often give referrals to their clients who need to improve their English. Destination Osoyoos has offered the boardroom in the past for trainings for tutors. And the Osoyoos Public Library is also one of our partners. And that's it.
Pretty phenomenal, and that's how you have sustainability within a program, and an opportunity for a program to grow is by increasing your partnerships and making sure that the community recognizes the asset that they have within itself. Let's talk then a little bit about what is the structure of the programs. Is there a commitment on behalf of the participants that requires them a certain amount of days, or is it up to their schedule? How does that work?
Because this is a student-focused program, the student decides, but we encourage them to meet with their tutors twice a week for about an hour. Some meet for an hour and a half. Of course, an hour in a foreign language is pretty exhausting. So sometimes at first with our foundation level students, those who are lower than level 1 and might not be able to say hello, goodbye, perhaps not even know the English alphabet, 45 minutes can be a very long period of time. And that time is broken down into practice with perhaps at the lowest level, learning to write the alphabet, but at a higher level, listening and speaking, reading and writing, and some of that would be loose conversation, others would be a period of time for grammar, and a focus on pronunciation, assistance. It all depends on what the learner particularly needs.
And I know you mentioned that some of your students have been here for multiple years, and what is the average that a student would stay until they feel comfortable that they have enough of a basis of the language that they can communicate within their community?
It depends on how intense they're working. If they're working in a couple of areas, say for example on Rosetta Stone as well as with one of our tutors, that time would be shortened, of course. We've had people stay as long as 3 years, short a period as a season, but most stay 1 to 2 years. And many have goals that they want to go on, and they want to go on to college and perhaps take up a trade. So they need enough English to be able to function in the workplace.
So let's turn the tables a bit just to your wonderful volunteers. And can you speak what the volunteer is expected to do, the type of training that they would receive, what can they expect and how can they get involved?
Yes. Our volunteers are a fine group of people. They receive approximately 12 hours of training to prepare them for tutoring. And rather than thinking of yourself as a professional teacher, I always say to them, think of yourself more as the friendly neighbor next door who's helping out with support in Canada and learning English. So they don't have to be perfect in what they do. But during those 12 hours of training, they receive an appreciation of cultural differences. We spend our first session on that. And they also do some online training provided at the ministry level to ensure that they would like to do this, and so they hear about other tutors' experiences. And then we focus on a workshop on listening and speaking strategies, what's involved with teaching those, and what's involved with learning listening and speaking. And we do another on reading and writing, as well as the background of the student before they come to the tutor, that is, how to determine levels. And we also work with them one-on-one with the materials they will use when they're matched with their learner, so that they begin to have some facility with those materials and they don't have to be independent and have to go off and do it on their own. So they usually feel very comfortable, and I would say that they are ready, but I am here as coordinator and instructor to help them troubleshoot at any point. Perhaps the materials are a little too challenging and we need to make an adjustment, or perhaps they're just struggling with some aspect of grammar that they feel they don't know, and I can help them with that.
So obviously our communities are made up of wonderful assets of volunteerism, and this is one example of how someone could contribute to their community and make it a better place for the people that reside there. Who would they specifically contact? Would it be the Sonora Center? Would it be through Okanagan College? How would they be able to get in contact with you?
Because this is locally based, they can call me directly. That's Carolyn Sinclair. My phone number is 250-495-0787. And I'll repeat that again before we finish the interview in case you don't have a pen handy now.
I know we had a conversation about SLSAP itself, and just give the broader perspective. SLSAP happens in Osoyoos, but it's not the only community that has this program running, and I understand that they recently had received an award.
Yes, it's actually run in 45 different communities in the province of British Columbia. Osoyoos is only one, but also Fort St. John, Pemberton, you name it. It's there as long as it's a rural community, because we are focused on this. Yes, we won the Grundtvig Award, and this is an international award that is given annually since 2003. And it's given to an adult learning organization once a year. Sometimes in the past, some of the awards have been given to Belgium for a program called Little Stories, Great Hopes, to the Philippines for community-based alternative learning and development, or to France for a virtual European prison school. So I feel very privileged to be part of this SLSAP program here in Osoyoos because, well, it's won an international award and I've seen how it transforms lives.
Can you just tell us, too, the amount of students, the average amount of students that are regularly participating, as well as the average amount of instructors?
Okay. So year to year, it varies a lot. We've had as many as 22 students participating in this program. And this year, we have about 9 students participating and the same number of volunteer tutors. So we're always looking for students, and we're especially looking for tutors. I do run a small group here because I have just a few students that haven't been matched with tutors at this time. We have people that are Punjabi speakers, Indonesian speakers, people who speak Mandarin. We've had Filipinos in the past. So we've had a wide variety of language groups represented in the program right here in Osoyoos.
Which is pretty incredible in itself.
It is.
Carolyn, just give your contact information one more time. And is there a website that they can check the information on? Would that be through Okanagan College?
Welcome BC offers all the programs that are here locally in Soyuz. So if they look on Welcome BC, they'll see that. The number to reach me here locally in Soyuz is 250-495-0787, and I'd be glad to receive your call and give you any amount of information if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, or perhaps you know someone who would be assisted by learning some English. Please call me.
Carolyn, thank you so much for participating today, coming sharing some of your information of this incredible program in Soyuz. And obviously, it is transforming lives and is transforming communities such as Soyuz, where we are situated right now. Thank you so much. And this is Margie Basso with EastLink Magazine.
We hope you enjoyed today's edition of EastLink Magazine. I'm Julie Martin. Thanks for watching.